everybody, welcome. Check this out. I am with today. This is actually, not only it's an honor. I just found out that Mr. James Shavick, 200 IMDb credits, and you're wondering why I'm going to hold this. I'm going to put this down here for 1 second. I'll get into it. James Shavick is in today doing an interview with us.
Quite amazing. First one in 40 years.
That's it. First one in 40 years. So James, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? I know who you are.
I'm a producer and executive producer. I've done 200 plus movies, hundreds of half hours and hours of network television, and come from a retail background, married to the Right Honorable Joy McPhail. And
We won't hold that against him. She's an
you
indie
should
here.
be so successful. And
That is very true.
and basically, we're here to talk about the upcoming sale. Getting rid of my memorabilia and especially my turtle stuff, which is a great story. We can talk about that later, how I ended up with all this stuff. And that's who I am.
So that's it, right here. Take a look at this. This is a much younger James, I take it. He's got the real slick Hollywood glasses. With, can you see the pictures here? Look at that. That's Michelangelo, Leonardo, all the rest of the turtles. So James produced the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles
TV series.
TV series.
Which was #1 on Fox.
Wow. #1 on Fox.
But, and this is the 500-pound gorilla, we needed to find the original subway car where the turtles spent where they lived.
So this, you're telling us, this is from, these are the outfits that are actually from the Teenage Ninja Part 3, the Japanese series.
No, those are the outfits from the movie.
From the movie.
From the movie. But the interesting thing was we tracked down the actual set, and it's in Oregon, and we negotiated to buy it because it's less expensive to buy it, ship it, and then it's real. But at the last minute, the gentleman who's negotiating says, you have to take everything that's in the warehouse.
I know how that feels. I do that all the time.
And I go, okay. And in there were these large boxes, which I never opened for years, and they were all the costumes, all the turtle outfits, excuse me, everything from the movie where they went back to Japan. It had nothing to do, none of the stuff that we're selling has anything to do with the TV series.
Right.
It's all about the movie. So the samurai outfits, the various weapons, the heads, you've got one back there. All of this stuff is from the movie. I didn't produce the movie. I just ended up buying all this stuff.
So what they call hero stuff. This is stuff that they wore. So what's really important to understand here is when you're selling Hollywood memorabilia, which we're going to call this Hollywood memorabilia,
Okay.
this not only came from the producer of the series who was involved with it. He so basically bought all the stuff from the set of Part 3. These are all sitting over here. I'll bring them over here. All hero. All worn by all the actors. He then put them aside, did the TV show, kept this, because like what I do is when they call me up to buy a set, I want just the clothing, but I gotta take everything. So he was in a situation where he became a liquidator, but he also needed the stuff for his series. Is that correct?
We actually only used the set.
You only use the set.
Yeah, and at the end of the show, Fox made me destroy the set. So I couldn't start up I wasn't going to do it, but they didn't want me to go into competition.
And so that happens a lot, actually, is when we buy out movie sets here locally, a lot of them we have to sign what's known as an NDA. We can't actually disclose the name of the show, which would help. We finished doing a show with Bill Terzakis, actually an auction with Bill Terzakis. He had Freddy versus Jason and all this, and we were really nervous because a lot of it's proprietary. So hence, this is, I wouldn't want to say the word proprietary, but the fact that this was screen used by the Turtles in the show.
In the movie?
In the movie, sorry. Yeah. So tell me something, James. You now own a TV station called...
We are involved in a wonderful, wonderful TV station called Outtv. We are the world's largest gay television network. We're in multiple countries. We're on Air Canada. You can see us on British Airways.
I saw it on Air Canada.
When you're trapped in those seats and have nothing to watch. And it's a labor of love. This is not necessarily a business venture. It's more passion. We bought it out of bankruptcy. We made something special. We're we have a huge library. We're always producing.
So you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you enjoy doing what you're doing.
That's correct.
And then the money comes afterwards.
And I have young people doing it. I do very little of it. You know, as I say, I'm the third check signer.
Really?
Yeah, and nobody takes checks anymore. Everything's online.
So how does a guy come from Turtles, producing one of the top, what do you call it, animation? What is this?
It's live action.
Live action. How does a guy from live action, with turtles living in sewers and all this shit, become into Outtv? Like, what the hell?
Well, I got a call from a gentleman named Paul Collichman, who ran he still runs a online TV network called Here, which is a gay television network, and he said, you know, they're having a problem with this network. And then I got a call from a wonderful, wonderful broadcaster named Jay Switzer, who ran City TV, and he said, you need to buy this. I said, well, I don't want to buy it. He said, if you don't buy it, it will go bankrupt. They will lose the license, and because the conservatives are in power, there'll never be another license for a gay television network. So that's, and I was making product for Here, movies of the week and stuff like that. It was one of my clients, and so I bought it.
And how many years ago?
Oh God, maybe 15 years ago.
See how this works? 15 years ago, he buys Outtv. And of course, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, Outtv and that kind of stuff. Like
And it was hemorrhaging. It was losing 40,
Yeah.
50,000 a month. I mean, it was not
But then, in those days, I mean, it's only 15 years ago, so like that in time. But really, now look at the change.
It's making money. It's in all these markets where, you know, I tell the story. We used to be exclusively, you know, captives to Rogers, Bell, Shaw at the time, Cogeco in Quebec, the actual carriers, and now people can get us on the internet, and it's a whole
Streaming.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, and it
Is the funding the same? Like, I mean, I know that in Canada, like when we did our show, any show that's filmed in Canada, so much of it came from the government. Is that
the government continues to do credits.
to do
So yes, if we make a show in Canada, we get a portion back once we finish the show and have an accountant certify and audit. We get a certain amount of money back from the government. But a lot of our shows are shot in Florida. We have a show with Stormy Daniels, which we shoot in Florida.
Stormy Daniels?
Oh yeah,
She's very famous.
she's an amazingly wonderful person.
Didn't she see?
No, we're not going.
Oh, okay.
We're not saying that man's name because
Okay.
we're not giving him any publicity.
Oh, okay.
Because he's a fascist. But I do have a story about him.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm doing a movie, and we do what's called stunt casting. Stunt casting is when you take someone who's not really an actor but famous, and you give them a small role, and then you can go starring so and so and so and so, and Marla Maples as such and such. And she was divorcing Trump, and Tiffany was like this big. So we fly Marla in, and she's working for us for 8 or 9 days out of a 21-day schedule. It's spread out. And I get a phone call. It's Donald Trump. I go, nah, it's not. No, it's Donald Trump.
Did he say, "Hi, I'm the greatest"?
No, what he said was, how colorful can I be on this? Any problems with, like, swear words? Okay, he said, you fucking moron, I'm going to own you, I'm going to get you, you're going to be in trouble, I'm going to ruin you, I'm going to injunct you. It was a spewing group of venom from this man. It turns out Marla had a prenup, but among other things, she couldn't take Tiffany out of America.
Holy
And
shit.
she'd taken her to Canada. So if anything happens to Tiffany, I'm like, Trump is explaining to me how horrible my life is going to be. And so we ended up hiring off-duty Vancouver police officers to be with her 24/7.
Wow.
And we would fly her, I think it was Kenny G's place. We would fly her down to the States on the weekends because it was cheaper than having 24-hour protection. But that's my Donald Trump story. So it's not surprising that he's such a slime bag.
Interesting enough, you mentioned earlier with the conservatives losing the license. If we're not that I'm touching politics, but I'm going to say one thing about the film industry. It's one of the best industries actually around. I mean, I'm telling you, the amount of money that the film industry, and I've seen it firsthand, the amount of money they put back into the system, and quite frankly, right down from your PAs, your production assistants, what it's called, right up to your costume designers. These guys are making actually a decent salary.
Well, more importantly, for every dollar spent on the film industry, it's a $7 multiplier into the economy. If we go to Maple Ridge and we're shooting, and I'm not doing movies anymore, but we're shooting in Maple Ridge, we're using the local donut shop, we're using the supermarket, we're paying all of the owners of the businesses on the streets for the problems we're causing them because we're setting up crews. The amount of money we spend in communities, and it's a clean business, it's a green business, and it's a business where everyone who works in it is a member of a union.
Yeah.
They all get fair wages and time and a half after 8 and free meal. It's an amazing business.
Yeah, no, I that from that perspective, and I mean, again, when I first met James, I walked in and I said, well, how are you going to do business with a guy that's a conservative? And his wife actually is, can I mention?
Sure.
Joy McPhail. She was one of the leaders of the New Democratic Party, who is also an advocate of the film industry. And honestly,
That's how I met her.
That's how you met her. When she was acting? When she was doing politics?
No, I lobbied her for a tax credit. At the time, only Ontario had a tax credit. I said, we're losing all this business to Ontario. And she understood it and made sure we got a tax credit a little bit more than Ontario. Yeah. And, you know, we have something that nobody else has in Canada. A producer who's working up here can kiss his kids goodbye at 6 in the morning on Monday, come up here and work, and leave at 4 o'clock on Friday and be home with his family. You can't do that in Ontario. You can't do that in Alberta. You can only do that in British Columbia. Yeah. It's a big selling point. And we don't have much snow.
Yeah, that's true.
And snow doesn't read well.
The film industry does pay very well. And being in the liquidation business that we've been doing for the last 35 years, we got involved a lot with, you know, buying sets that need to liquidate. Oh, look at that. There we go. There's probably a set. That's my son. So what we do is we buy a lot of sets in Vancouver. We liquidate them, or we rent them back to the film industry. And of course, right now there's a strike. But that strike's going to end. And you know what? A lot of people say, oh, these flipping Hollywood guys are all making all this money. Yeah, there is a top maybe 10% of all the actors. But in between, it's not just the actors. James just said, 40 years, he hasn't been on camera. Like, you never see the guy doesn't go on camera. He might do a speech at a talk about producers or get together, but he doesn't do this stuff. But in his office, there's people. Before you get to the actor, in between, there's up to thousands of people working on a show, hundreds anyway. Each one of these people have a position. One holds the camera, one does this, one does that, and they pay. I think a PA starts at about $300 a day.
It is a remarkable industry to be a part of. You know, they have an apprentice system in the guilds. But there's a strike right now, as you said, and what people don't understand, because we have healthcare in Canada, in America, healthcare is an earned thing. It comes with your union. 87% or 85% of the actors union doesn't make the $27,000 minimum to qualify for healthcare. So we always hear about, you know, all of these amazing actors who are making huge amounts of money, the George Clooney's and the really nice people. Most of the industry doesn't.
That's right. Yeah.
And the actors.
I would say about 10%.
And
the writers are going to put it tough, especially the writers, because you don't know who they are.
That's correct.
No one looks barely at the credits on the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, the writers, and I mean, tell me something. Like when I started filming my show, I'm a bit nervous, to be quite frank, because this guy he's been around. He's been, you know, when we did our show, we were unscripted. You ever watch our show?
I did. I was a huge fan. It was one of the first. You know, it was way before Property Brothers and all that stuff. It was one of the first shows that got me hooked. It was like candy.
It was unscripted.
It was good.
We never knew. If I knew that I was going to go into a meeting, for example, to your office downtown Vancouver, and you had something to sell me, I wouldn't want to know what it was until I walked in.
Because the spontaneity was what made you famous.
Yeah, and that was, and if you look at any of the other reality TV shows that are out there, I did the one with the lockers. You know, people say this, people say that. I mean, I'm not saying that they're fake or not, but we literally, when you plan a day for selling, we planned it with a camera. We'd show up, and that was it. So, and it was cool. It was very cool, and we did reality television. We did it for 4 seasons. It hit the world, and There you go. I did a few scenes on where had to go act, and I had to read lines. I had like 7 lines. I must have to read the fucking thing 11 times, and I still couldn't remember it. So I do have a lot of respect.
As I
for
told
others.
you earlier, one of my most favorite actors was in a movie called Final Assignment with Jean-Vic Bujold and Michael York. Was a guy named Burgess Meredith. He's passed now, and he told me the actual best advice I ever got about acting. I said, "Well, Burgess, you're in Rocky, and it's fantastic, and it's taken over the box office. Now you're in our movie. How do you do it?" He said, "I don't act. I'm just me." And that's a key thing.
What was it like working with the Turtles?
They were the most famous actors I ever worked with, and
Really?
I worked with a lot of famous actors, Bryan Cranston, a lot of really nice people. We used to call them off the record deaf, dumb, and blind, because when they put that outfit on and that helmet on, they couldn't hear anything, they couldn't move, and they were stuntmen, and it took a particular talent to do that.
So were they actually talking, or was it another voice?
It was another voice. For instance, Splinter was a wonderful Canadian actor named Stephen Mendel from Montreal, who lives in Hollywood. And yeah, they weren't talking. And there was somebody off camera with a little board making their eyes and their mouths move.
Really?
Yeah.
Now it'd be AI, I guess, right? That's
Yeah, probably. It's beyond me.
So how many episodes did you guys do?
We only did 26 of Turtles. We did 95 of the Addams Family. We did.
I got that Addams Family book. That was a continuity photos. I don't have that here. What's that all about?
That is a photo of every costume and every prop used in the entire series.
For continuity.
Yeah, so that if you had to redo a scene, you could go back and that's very rare.
So how many of these would be out there?
One,
Why?
because it only needed one.
So we have the continuity photos from the Addams Family. We have
A couple of memento photos.
This is actually up for auction.
From the Addams Family, from the Turtles.
From the Turtles. So, now this goes back to business.
And what you don't have a lot of is, of course, Breaker High, which was Ryan Gosling's first gig.
But that was Breaker. That was a movie.
No, it was his TV series.
TV series.
46 half hours.
Right, Ryan Gosling. Wow.
And he was delicious.
Good guy?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was so sweet and so nice. He was about 18 and been a musketeer, and he was just amazing. You could tell from the first day you met him that he was going to go places.
So there's a lot of genuine Hollywood actors that are actually genuine good people.
There are. I'm not going to tell you the bad ones, but it's like one hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at people, I was talking to you earlier, Cheryl Ladd.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Bryan Cranston, the nicest human being I ever met. Stacy Keach, one of my dear, dear friends. These people are incredible, and it's the bad ones that give them a bad rep. There's 99.9% of the actors are incredible people.
On the end of the day, and I mean, I'm not saying it, but if you are, let's pick out, you mentioned George Clooney the other day, and everybody, I mean, he's got a huge fan base. I mean, and you're having a shitty day, you have a fight with your wife, your dog dies, whatever, and you're going for a walk, and you don't want to talk to anybody, and all of a sudden somebody comes up to you, oh my God, George Clooney, and you, shut up, you don't mean it, but it's just,
I would doubt very highly that any of them would say that, because their persona is how they make a living.
That's true.
So they're extremely understanding.
Yeah.
People who want to have a picture taken with them or want to shake their hand, because it's how they make their living, and they're really decent people.
And that's, I mean, when we did the Liquidator, and Liquidator gained a lot of attention, and I was quite surprised that the show did 91 episodes, and
that's in the TV world, anything over 45 is a home run.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Because it syndicates for life.
Yeah, it does. It's funny because I always said that if I became famous, and you want to take your A celebrities, I'm way down. I don't even think there's an alphabet letter, but it was just wild when and I always, when someone wanted to take a picture, you shook their hand, and you know what, and I got to go to hospitals where I remember this one lady, she was dying of cancer, and her son begged me to go in, and we were filming in Kelowna, and I went up and I walked in there, and she was on her last legs, and she on oxygen, and they said, okay, the doctors brought me in, and all of a sudden she went from practically, she died, I think, the next day, but she went, big smile on her face. I mean, you know what I mean? It was like from a TV show called The Liquidator. What the fuck? It's just a fucking TV show.
Yeah, but it was the first of its kind. I did a movie which was directed by Jeff Proust, who was Survivor.
Survivor, yep.
And he was terrific. It had James Earl Jones and a whole bunch of great actors in it, who were all his friends.
Right.
And the host is the reason why people tune in. Yes, there may be a contestant on the Liquidator who everybody's rooting for, or a romance going bad, or whatever.
Right.
But it's the hosts. There's a show in England called Location, 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 which has had the two, a man and a woman, host forever. And it's not the show; it's the host.
Yeah,
You're the host.
It was funny because again, we were unscripted, and if we went to Vancouver Island, I'll never forget. We went to Vancouver Island, and what we did, every transaction was real. And I remember this character, this guy, like off camera, the guy was fucking nuts. But as soon as that camera went on, the guy, he froze. And I don't want to say it badly, but it wasn't like we were getting a lot of money for this, and I had to let's get this thing going. So I figure out where we're doing it, and I put a hat on my head. I found this raccoon hat. And all of a sudden the guy smiled, and it worked out. And I get off, we finished filming, the director walks up and he says, "No wonder we got 91 episodes." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You seen it was going downhill. You put a hat on and it all changed." You know, so it was kind of cool. But really, bottom line, we could talk about my show forever.
We should.
I'd love to. You know what? I'd like to get onto Outtv. I just don't know if I could. No. This is okay. Hang on. Let's talk about Outtv. If you look at the Liquidator, if we're going to talk about the Liquidator, we had rabbis, we had motorcycle people, we had gay people, we had white people, we had Mexican. And my thing was, it doesn't matter who you are. Buying and selling is just what we are. In fact, when they asked me to go to pick a country, India was one of them. I want to go to Israel. I want to go to Palestine, buy something, and take it. And we couldn't get the insurance to do it. It was more, I wanted to show its peace, man. It's we need corn to eat, you know.
Everybody, the reason these shows work is that everybody can put themselves in your shoes.
That's right.
Because you're not holding airs. You're just you. And so people look at it and go, "Oh God, that's great. I could go to a garage sale and find
That's right.
an antique clock."
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fantasy world.
Yeah. I have guys that know the show better than I do in the research. You also work with RuPaul.
We are the proud participants with RuPaul in Canada. RuPaul is done with Paramount and World of Wonder. They're the producers. We own the rights in Canada.
So you met him?
I have not met him.
No, you haven't met him.
No, I have not met Ru.
Yeah. But he's done very well.
He's done very well, but he is a master.
Yes.
He works at his craft.
Yes.
And he deserves.
So people, when they aren't acting, you know, and who get fixated, like, you know, and you just keep striving and they just keep pushing and pushing, and it becomes an addiction. You know, you look at Freddie Mercury, one of the best performers ever. This guy was a gay guy back in the day when it wasn't good to be gay. But I watched the movie, whether it's all true or not, we're not fabricated, but you get obsessed with being the best. And you get obsessed with wanting to be better than you can be. Is that true?
The shows are made by the people who front them. So RuPaul is fronting his show, you were fronting your show, Stormy is fronting her show. People literally fixate on the people who are fronting. It doesn't matter whether I'm producing it or whether she's shooting it. None of that matters. It will only matter.
It's what the guy
in front of the camera. That's the only thing that
And
matters.
that's very true, because with the Liquidator, it was you know, you try to make people feel comfortable. They've never been on before, and like you said with Burgess, I was just me. A lot of people did. I remember going to a bar one night and this guy was buying everybody drinks, and I was standing there. He goes, "I'll buy you one, you want one, but I'm not going to buy you one." And I went, "I don't want one." And anyway, and he goes, "Do you know why?" And I said, "Well, I guess you're going to tell me." because I fucking hate you. And I said, you hate me? Do you know me? He's like, I watch you on show. I go, well, I did my job. Right? I mean, the thing is, and did I embellish it? No, I was just who I was. I was loud, but that's what people, if you're faking it, and you can tell people are faking it, I don't know. Bottom line is we're talking about the Liquidator, and we're talking about some of your top accomplishments. I'm going to talk to you about an investment opportunity.
Oh, God.
Right here. Right here.
This stuff gets better with age.
Yep.
And you have a chance that they're one of a kind. They're not mass produced. The toys are the toys and they have value, but they made millions of them.
Even this Addams Family book. Guys, I'm telling you, this auction's taking place on September the 16th at 10 a.m. We have the end of it. We not only have a world-renowned producer. What's really cool, he's got a 18818 number, which is number from
The Valley.
Burbank. So it's really cool. He has a place down in Palm Springs where he has a couple of pieces. Even some of the outfits or some of the jackets that are only given out to cast. I'm going to tell you the way this works. You buy one of these outfits today it was 1997 or it was 1993 the show, wasn't it?
It's
Something like that. Anyway, that's it. There's not 10 of them out there. This is something that where you buy, if you buy one of these outfits for $5,000, $10,000, in 20 years from now, you've got that piece, the only piece. And you know what? Everybody says, how do I know it's real? I don't know. Why do you think we brought him? James has been doing this for how many, 60 or 50 years?
I made my first feature in 1976 called Two Solitudes. There were maybe 5 movies made in the country that year. It starred Stacy Keach and a French actor named Jean-Pierre Romand and one of a Quebec actor named Raymond Cloutier. And in fact, there's a poster in the sale that's the only one of those posters that exists. Most of the posters, and I know people are not crazy about posters, especially of B movies, but most of the posters that exist are one of a kind. They made 3 of them. One for the American producer, one for the Canadian producer, and one for the sales agent. By now, the Canadian producer is the only one who's such a hoarder that he kept them.
Right. James Shavick, IMBD page. James Shavick, SHAVICK.
My God, you got it right. You get a brownie.
Oh my God.
Possibly a marijuana brownie.
Well, God, this one thing you don't want to see me is on any kind of marijuana whatsoever, because I tell you, you want to do a television show, put me in the loony bin, because I don't mind my scotch, but when I become, during COVID, a friend of mine gives me says, you got to relax, you're always like this. I go, of course I'm like this. I'm fucking liquidating. Anyway, the guy says, Jeff, I got this stuff, it's from a dispensary, it's legal, it's a candy, I take it every night and it calms me down. I
It's
said,
the gummy bears.
well, some flipping thing. So I get home, I had a couple of scotches, and I ate it. And 2 hours later, I'm on the floor rolling, crying, thinking that I've got COVID and that I can't breathe. I phoned him up the next day and I said, you son of a bitch, what in fuck? The fuck? What the fuck? And he says, well, how much did you take? I said, I ate the whole thing. He said, you fucking had a month worth. I go, what do you mean it's a month worth? You take a little piece.
Little bite.
And I thought I was on the ground. And COVID was just starting. We were all in lockdown, and here I was on the floor. So yeah, I almost OD'd on it, and that's not the first time. So I never did it, but yeah. So
people should at least go on the site, which is
yes, directliquidation.ca or directauctions.ca. Have a look.
And see if there isn't something they want.
Yeah.
Some things will be expensive, some things won't.
Bottom line, this is a one-time opportunity.
I mean, the jacket, the turtle Letterman jacket I'm selling, there were only 7 of them made.
There you go.
The turtle jean jacket, there were maybe 60 made for the crew. I kept mine. I've never worn it. It sat in a closet in Los Angeles, then a closet in Palm Springs. These are one of a kind, and they're in good shape.
And he entrusted us to sell it. And the bottom line is, this is an investment opportunity. When we do, and I mean it. I mean, people think, oh yeah, he's full of shit. Okay, fine, I'm full of shit, but I'm not full of shit. We just finished, and I was telling James earlier, we did the Bill Terzakis, who passed away 2 years ago of a heart attack. He was one of the most renowned prosthetics in all of North America. We had a Freddy versus Jason hand. We had, from every single show we had it. And we were actually a little nervous because we weren't too sure, because some of the times this is proprietary. This is what you guys got to remember. What does the word proprietary mean? It means the studios actually own the rights to it,
They
and
own
you can't
the
sell
copyright,
it.
and if you sell it, you get in trouble.
Big shit.
So there are no RuPaul memorabilia.
We tried to get some RuPaul stuff, but RuPaul couldn't sell it. So this is what even makes this double whammy. Not just a single whammy, a double whammy. You've got James to authenticate it. Now, plus you've got stuff that is only produced of one of. So quite frankly, what is the value? It's priceless. I couldn't see why, even though the costumes are not mint, a 10 out of 10, but they're still relatively good. A $10,000 investment, $15,000 investment on a one-of-a-kind item, it's like buying a piece of art. If you look at, and this is what people want to know, what is IMBD? IMBD stands for, it's basically celebrities, actors, producers, directors,
It
makeup
gives you
artists.
their entire career in bullet point.
All in bullet point. When we did some stuff from Stargate, we had a guy that worked on the show, and I said to this gentleman, I said, listen, I want to sell this, but I need to get some. He says, well, I wasn't really supposed to have it. I said, okay, but listen, all they need to do is just go onto the show. And the minute we found out, and I'm not going to mention his name because it isn't really relevant to this matter, as soon as they went to his IMDb credit and they said he worked on the show, the staff at Stargate actually became worth something. Just like this. And it doesn't get any better. We have some other stuff in this auction that we asked James if it was okay, and he was actually...
Absolutely, I'm excited.
Another prop master, exactly. And he will not let us use his name. However, he did say afterwards, verbally, you can give it. And so that's some of the other Stargate stuff. So just so you know, that's how protective this man who's retired, who won't give us his name. He said, I will not let you do it in writing. We have to sign a piece of paper. So when they want to buy one of these things, we'll tell that person who it is. So do you see how lucky we are? Fortunate enough to have James here. We could probably go on for hours and talk about all this stuff.
Yeah, but no one really cares.
Well, you know what? I'm telling you what. This is, for Canadian, you're an icon and you're a legend. You've actually created something out of, like, you took a chance. We're talking about, hey, shut up! We're lucky.
You gotta visit his store because it's like coming into a reality show.
In this place, this is like a reality. Hey, Lucy! Hey! Quiet! Quiet!
Either that or come on in and
come on in and talk. That's what the store is like. That's what everything that we do is like. Check it out, directauctions.ca, September 16th. Any more questions you want, shoot me an email. Check it out. If you want to know a little bit more about IMBD, just go IMBD, and you can pick. If you're a makeup artist, you want to hit James Shavick. I did. I saw over 200 movies, and here he is, a Vancouver legend, letting us liquidate his Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtle outfits plus some other stuff. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And you know what's funny? I said to James about 2 minutes ago, I said, I have an investment opportunity. And he looked at me, he's going to say, oh, fuck, here we go. We're going to buy, he's going to try to sell me
gold,
or he's going to try to sell me shares in some Bitcoin. Actually, what I'm not doing is I'm telling you, you have the ability to buy this. You have the ability to put your money into an investment. If I'm wrong, go look back on some of our auctions with Bill Terzakis. And as a matter of fact, a couple of the items that we had sold, one of them for $55,000, recently sold for $72,000 US. So you have the hands and you have the ability to take advantage of a situation right now to make yourself some money, because this stuff is not, it's like buying a Pablo Picasso original print you cannot get one of. Not print, painting. This is what it is. Teenage Ninja Turtles, September the 16th. Here's your Providence. Look forward to seeing you. And it was great having you here.
Thanks for having me to your amazing store, plus the warehouse.
Oh, the warehouse is
warehouse is insane.
Oh God, it's nuts.
I'm very impressed with your operation.
We've had some. We try to. We do everything. We sell this. We buy and sell that, and we try to keep the brands up a little bit. it's very tough in these markets. Very tough. You know what we should do? We should actually do a show together. Is what we should do. And I know you're going to say you're not gay, and I'm not. Doesn't mean. I think it'd be fun. Have one straight guy on a gay show.
I'll take it up with management. As you know, the 40-year-olds are running it.
Oh shit!
I'm old.
Okay. How do I?
No, I mean it. It's not a fluff thing. We'll talk about that later.
I could put that he she thing them beside my name and just because I don't know how that works. But
you could, but you probably should stay out of this whole area. Because you're going to say something that screws it all up.
Yes.
Deal with liquidation.
Yeah. I'll rephrase that. We should do a show together, but you are correct. I need to. It's been a very honor and privilege to be here today, and we should consider doing a show together. I think it'd be fantastic.
Wojciech.
Wojciech?
Yeah, Yiddish. You know
Yeah,
Yiddish. Wojciech.
I was thinking, but I think it would be cool.
All right, that's it. We're done.
We're done, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time.
Anything else? Give us an email.